Jai Shri Radhe. Shri Vallabhadi Shiki Jai Ho. Today is day 78 of our readings, Varta number 73. The story of Sadhu Panday, his wife Bhavani and his daughter Naro. Jai Shri Krishna. Bhav Prakash. Sadhu Panday, his wife Bhavani and his daughter Naro lived in Anur at the foot of the Sri Giriraj mountain. In the eternal Leela, Sadhu Panday is Vrishabhanuji's brother named Chandrabhan Gop. Naro and Bhavani are Ramde and Shyamde, Yashodaji's sister-in-laws. Part 1. When Sri Acharyaji was on his holy grace pilgrimage, he went to the south of India to a place called Jharkhand. Whilst he was there, Sri Govardhan Naji appeared to him and said, "I would like you to reveal the ways of my Seva, so that the fallen divine souls can quickly come back to me. In Vraja on the Sri Giriraj mountain, I have appeared as 3 Damans. Daman is a powerful controlling form or force. I myself am Dev Daman. There are 2 more Damans in my proximity." Bhav Prakash. Now this will be explained. Lord's second Daman form is Nag Daman, slayer of the snake, who is from his left side, and the third is Indra Daman from the Lord's southern part. Nag Daman from the Lord's left side is so called because he arises from Sri Yamunaji. I am called Nag Daman because I slew the black snake of time that was poisoning her waters. Now punishment them from the god of retribution Yamaraj, and from my force known as time, can be wiped out simply by sipping water from Sri Yamunaji. She is constant and perfect and very dear to me. Sri Thakurji, so she resides in his left side and always serves him. On his right side is Indra Daman, who defeats Indra. He reigns in the form of Sri Giriraji, who is always ready to serve. Sri Giriraji mountain is the crest jewel amongst all servants of the Lord. Haridas Varya. When Indraji became enraged at Vraj, Sri Giriraji recognized the Lord's wish to protect Vraj, and so he made himself into an umbrella and protected all the inhabitants. He thus punished Indra and gave all the credit to the Lord. Great devotees never take credit for anything but attribute everything to the Lord, as did he. And in the middle is Dev Daman, who stands superior to all other godheads, and who is thus named because all other manifestations such as Sri Jagannathji or Sri Narayan have their pride crushed by Sri Govardhan Naji. It is written in Srimad Bhagavatam, Ete Cham Shakalaha Pumsaha Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. All these, however, are part manifestations or rays of the Supreme Person, while Sri Krishna is the Lord himself. Srimad Bhagavat 1:2-28. That is why I am known as Dev Daman. Now please reveal me. Part 1 continued. Sri Acharyaji decided to stop his pilgrimage and come back to Braj from Jharkhand. He came to Sri Govardhan. There were 5 of his close disciples with him. They were Damodar Das Sarsani, Krishna Das Megan, Bade Ram Das, Madhav Das and Narayan Das. He reached Sadhu Panday's house in the evening and sat on the platform under the tree near to his door. Sadhu Panday bowed to him and respectfully asked him if he would like to eat something. Krishna Das Megan replied on Sri Acharyaji's behalf that he did not eat anything from anybody. He would only eat from the hands of his disciples. They were discussing these matters when Sri Govardhan Naji called from up on the top of the hill. He called Sadhu Panday's daughter by name. "Oh, Naro, please bring me my portion of milk." Naro replied, "Oh, yes, my lovely lad, I'll bring it right now. I have some guests, so when I have dealt with them, I'll come up with it." Sri Govardhan Naji said, "Well, you might have guests, but it's getting late for me. Please bring my milk." So Naro took the bowl of milk up the mountain and gave it to him. There was a little left over, so Naro brought it down with her. Sri Acharyaji asked her where she had been. When she told Sri Acharyaji that she had taken the milk up to feed Sri Govardhan Naji. Sri Acharyaji asked her to give him the remaining part, which she did, and Sri Acharyaji drank it. Sadhu Panday saw that Sri Acharyaji accepted the prasadi milk from Srinathji, even though he did not take from anyone's hand, and thus he recognized the great love between them. Sadhu Panday then inquired of Sri Acharyaji, "O Maharaj, have you come to Vraj for a visit, or do you have some other plan?" Sri Acharyaji told them, "When I was in the south of India, Sri Govardhan Naji appeared to me and told me to establish his worship here. He said that he is Indradaman, Nagdaman, and Devdaman. This is why I have come here." I can see that the Devdaman has already showered great blessings upon you. Sadhu Panday, his wife Bhavani, and their daughter Naro all asked him to become his disciples, saying, "Oh well, you win. Please initiate us." Bhav Prakash. The inference of the speech is that if anyone comes to Vraj, they would always serve them yogurt, milk, bread, lentils, etc., whatever they ask for. But seeing that Sri Acharyaji would only accept prasad from the hands of his disciples, they decided to be accepted by him. They said, "We Brajavasis are worshipable by the whole world, but we must worship you." Part 1 continued. Sri Acharyaji promised to initiate them all the following morning. The next day, after the three of them had bathed, he sat them down and initiated them with the Lord's name and Brahma Sambandh. He told them to serve the Lord Devdaman. They piped up, "We are simple village folk. We don't know any rules of behaviour." Sri Acharyaji told them, "You have a bond of love with Devdamanji, and this is the most important thing. You are innocent devotees, so please serve in any way that comes naturally to you." After that, Sadhu Panday gave Sri Acharyaji all types of supplies, including yogurt, milk and ghee, along with sugar, etc. Sri Acharyaji cooked, offered and took prasad. Then he came and sat on that platform under the tree with the villagers. When night time came, Sadhu Panday's brother Manik Chand, who lived in a different location, came there. Bhav Prakash. Manik Chand is Madhu Mangal Sakha in the Eternal Leela. Part 1 continued. That night, Sadhu Panday told all his Vrajavasi acquaintances that a great soul had come to Vraj, and that he would be revealing Sri Devdamanji. "You should all come to see him." All the important and elder Brajavasis turned up. Manik Chand and Sadhu Panday were with them. Sri Acharyaji asked of them how they had come to know of the appearance of Sri Devdaman from the Sri Giriraj mountain. Sadhu Panday recounted, "O Maharaj, there was a cowherd boy who used to take all the villagers' cows out to graze. One Brahmin had a large cow who used to give lots of milk. For some time, when the cow came home and the Brahmin sat down to milk her, he noticed that she was not giving any milk. This happened for a couple of days. On the third day that it happened in this way, the Brahmin became angry with the cowherd boy. 'You must be taking my cow's milk,' he accused with a threatening attitude. 'I do not milk your cow,' the boy said. 'Today I will keep an eye on your cow.' The cowherd took all the cows to the forest and kept a keen eye on that particular one. He climbed up on the mountain. The cowherd boy followed her, staying out of sight. He saw that there was a hole in a stone on the top of the mountain, and she dropped all her milk by herself into that crevice. The cowherd boy sat down to watch. Again, 4 hours before nightfall, the cow went to that crevice and dropped milk down into it. When the boy brought all the cows home, he told the Brahmin that his cow was daily dropping all her milk down on a crevice on the mountain, and that his accusation upon him had been completely false. 'If you don't believe me, come with me tomorrow.' The Brahmin said that he would indeed go with him the next morning. In the morning he sat to milk his cow, but she gave none. The Brahmin went with the cowherd boy and saw his cow up on the mountain and dropping all her milk into the hole. She did it again in the evening, and then she came home. That evening, when all the Vrajavasis were sitting together, that Brahmin told them all about it. One elderly Vrajavasi spoke up. "There must be some kind of wealth or a swarupa of the Lord down below that crevice." About 5 or 10 Vrajavasis decided to go and investigate that place. The next morning, about 15 of them followed the cow and saw her drop her milk there before descending. The Vrajavasis together managed to lift up the rock with the hole in it. They found a young boy aged about 7 years in there. They asked him who he was. He replied, "I am the lord of this mountain. My name is Dev Daman. I like milk and yogurt. From now on, please daily send your daughter Naro to me, morning and evening, but now not to put them on top of this stone." The Brajvasis all went home. In the morning they took milk, yogurt and butter and fed it to Dev Damanji. In the evening they took him milk. If he felt hungry, Dev Damanji would come there himself and ask for whatever he wanted. In this way, Dev Damanji granted us Brajvasis a lot of joy. Whatever we wanted, he would give, and if he had any particular wish, we would fulfill it. This is the story of how Dev Damanji appeared to us. Sadhu Panday concluded. Manik Chand, his brother, then recounted. When Dev Daman appeared, he told me that he was on top of the mountain and that I should give him butter daily. I gave him butter every morning. Then Shri Acharyaji said, tomorrow evening I should climb up and have his sight. The next day he bathed and was planning to go up. He called Sadhu Panday and he came there with his brother Manik Chand. Manik Chand requested Shri Acharyaji to accept him into his fold. Shri Acharyaji asked him to bathe and then initiated Manik Chand with the Lord's name and Brahma Sambandh. Then Shri Acharyaji climbed up onto the Sri Giriraj mountain, accompanied by Sadhu Panday, Manik Chand and his circle of Vaishnavas. Sri Govardhanaji stood up and came in front of Shri Acharyaji. Shri Acharyaji took him onto his lap and, caressing his cheek, said, "Oh Baba, what do you wish now?" He replied, "Please reveal the modes of my service." Shri Acharyaji had a small temple built up there and gave the daily service to Ramdas Chauhan, who lived in the cave at Apsarakund. He had made a turban and soft upper garments, as well as a bejewelled crown, and adorned him with these. He gave him a necklace of gunja beads to wear. Sadhu Panday used to always bring milk, yogurt and butter, and he would offer it all to Deva Damanji to eat. Shri Acharyaji instructed Sadhu Panday to give to Ramdas whatever he needed for the service. Kumbandas Gaurav lived in Yamunawati. He also became a disciple. Shri Acharyaji gave him the service of singing to the Lord. Many Brajvasis in the environs became Shri Acharyaji's disciples, and the Seva continued like this for some time. Soon after, Shri Acharyaji gave permission to Purnamal to build a large place of worship. It was at this time that Ramdas left his body, and Shri Acharyaji asked Sadhu Panday to perform the services from then on. However, Sadhu Panday said he and the other Brajvasis did not really know the ways of service, and that they all had a lot of work both at home and on their farms, and they might not be able to do it as well as required. "We will collect and provide whatever supplies are needed," he said. Shri Acharyaji asked Sadhu Panday to suggest anyone else to do the services, and he suggested that the Bengalis who lived at Radhakund could do it. Shri Acharyaji agreed to call them over. He had some huts built for them to live in next to Rudrakund. He then initiated Krishna Das, who was a Shudra by caste, and set him up to be the manager and to bring whatever they needed from Mathura or Agra. Some time later, Krishna Das got rid of the Bengalis and gave the Seva to some Vaishnavas. All of this will be told in Krishna Das's own story. In this very way, Shri Acharyaji made disciples out of Sadhu Panday, Bhavani, Naro and Manik Chand, and brought Sri Govardhanaji out of the Sri Giriraj mountain. So for today, we take rest here at the end of part 1. Tomorrow we will read part 2 of the story of Sadhu Panday. So Shiva Labhadisha ki Jai. Jai Giriraj. Jai Shri Krishna. Shri Radhe.